Dr. Nina, thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting. And I'm beside myself that I'm here talking to you. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I just feel like just chatting before with you before we press record just reminds me why I do this and probably why you do this. It's just this community of moms and women entrepreneurs that is just super powerful and just fuels us to continue to both do what we do. So thank you for that.
Thank you. No, I applaud you for having this community and
Aw.
allowing me to speak. And I told you earlier, even if I can convince that one person who's thinking about the product to act on it,
Mhm.
that's a win for me. And I'm just really grateful to be here talking to you and your community. And I mean, honestly, selfishly, it's a lot of fun for me too.
No, I
As
feel the
we spoke.
same. Like I get to do this. People just want to talk, have conversations, and I share it. It's just we live in amazing times, if only for that reason. And so, why don't you set the stage for listeners on how you went from pharmacist to entrepreneur and being on Shark Tank? I mean, what?
I know. I can't even believe that I have a story to share, actually, but I think we all do. We just don't realize it. Nina Farzin, I am a CEO and creator of Oogie Bear. And I like to say it was the first product I basically disrupted this whole category of cleaning your baby's nose and ears. So I came up with a simple tool, which I wish your viewers could see. It's this tiny little tool that has a little bear head and a scoop that we were able to patent. It allows you to go into the baby's nose and clean their nose while they're wiggling around without hurting them, and going into the ears and cleaning the earwax without hurting them. And I think your viewers are like, well, great, she had an idea and she came out. Well, let me tell you how this idea started. It was out of desperation as a working mom. I had my doctorate in pharmacy and I was working and I had my firstborn, and I could not believe that the entire night we were up fussing over her breathing issues. She had slight breathing issues where she couldn't breathe. And it wasn't from the clogged up mucus that we're all familiar with. So everything on the market at that time, before the Oogie Bear was developed, was addressing the wet mucus, meaning an aspirator, you would put it to the nose, try to aspirate it. And believe it or not, that aspirator that's sent home with you at the hospital is not meant for the nose, it's meant for the mouth to aspirate the child, if they're aspirating. And here I am. I'm a pharmacist. I know what's in the aisles. My daughter's suffering from breathing at night. It's keeping all of us up. I have to work the next day. And how am I gonna, I wasn't able to function through that. And I knew what was available. I didn't want to put any, medications in her. She was too little. And I didn't have the heart to put saline into her nose in the middle of the night, so uncomfortable, and to be able to slurp that
Hmm.
method. And then there are some concerns about suction. When you know a little bit, you're kind of like your own worst enemy. Um, it had a lot of mold issues, contaminations. I didn't want her to get sick or get myself sick, because and then you're dealing with that. So I really was puzzled on what to do, and I came up with this little product that helped her really to get through the nights. And it was so easy. While she was sleeping or while I was nursing, I could actually clean her nose, and then she would continue sleeping at night. But I mean, I consider myself an accidental entrepreneur, because when I started this product, it was out of need for me to be able to go to work and be able to function well. Little did I realize, oh my God, I can actually, sell this product. And at that time, I didn't know anything about sales. I wasn't thinking I'm going to be an entrepreneur. So I developed this product, and it started helping others so much that my mom, my babysitters, everyone was looking for it to be able to clean. I had kids after that. I have 3 kids. And each one had their own version of their own story, whether it was the ears or, my son is my prototype baby. I basically use that product over and over to perfect it. And it's cute enough to approach baby, but yet it actually ended up being able to clean ears and nose. And now you'll see that, there's so many of these copycats on on websites everywhere because it does really well. It's a simple tool, but none of them have that secret sauce that we have, which is the patented scoop that allows you to go in and out really quickly. And they're missing that. So the simplistic idea of this allowed me to have a business. Here I am talking to you about my journey. And then you said, how did I get on Shark Tank? Well, I didn't realize we were running a really great business until Shark Tank approached me. We are that Shark Tank story. We did everything. I watched, I'm a huge fan of the show. And when they approached me, I was like, yeah, of course. But then, you got to realize there's a lot of time devoted to that and applications. And we were coming up to the deadline. I'll never forget. And this is twice that I keep throwing him under the bus, but the first time was like, honey, this is just a thought. It's an idea. Let's see you act on it. And you'll hear me on Shark Tank actually bring that up where, I didn't realize it was such a pain point that I was like, you basically looked at me and was like, let's see you try. And then the story was there. And then, when I applied, I was like, I'm going to apply to Shark Tank. He was like 60,000 applicants. Sweetie, I love you. I love your, your ambition there, but chances are you're not going to get on 60,000 applicants. And I just looked at him. I'm like, why not? I am the Shark Tank story. Every dollar went into this unit to build where I am. So why not me? And so lo and behold, I think the executives were blown away by our story that we didn't have any venture capital. I didn't put any money in. It was like, here's my startup. And, whatever I put in to get that first shipment. And then every order after that allowed me to be where I am today. And I think that story just resonated really deeply with them. And then we had an opportunity to do the first live episode. I don't know if you knew that, but the first live episode on Shark Tank with 350 audience members. And being, a healthcare professional, my husband is a periodontist, also a doctor. I knew the risk of looking terrible. And, at the end of the day, there is a profession back here and you don't want to look ridiculous and you don't want to seem like you have this tchotchke product. There's a lot of thought and energy that went into this product. And so when the opportunity presented itself that we're going to be on a live episode, no edits, what your audience members should know is that is exactly what you see is what you get is intense, 15 minutes of negotiations and all the, firing of questions, all real. I jumped in and I was like, I'm in, let's do this. And honestly, it was probably one of the most amazing experiences of my life, top 5, I would say. Yeah. And, and here I am talking about my story. So it's been quite a journey for me.
Yeah. I mean, that is just, I don't know, incredible. So much juiciness there to talk about. So it sounds like you created this just out of necessity. You didn't necessarily seek out to fill this gap in the market.
No, it was a necessity for me. And I think all great products come about needing something that you realize, oh, it's not in the market. I mean, look at the explosion of all the businesses that have come and have become successful as a result of, well, it wasn't there, so therefore I created it. I think that as human beings, that's our nature. And that was for me back then, like, why isn't this thought of? This is so simple. Why are we putting saline to make it wet enough, to be able to slurp it out? Like, why are we making this so difficult? And so my background, my understanding of just, overall health allowed me to bring out this product. What's amazing is that my husband's a periodontist and he deals with a lot of breathing issues. And this journey allowed me to kind of bring him on board. And now we're united on this mission of improving babies' breathing from day one, because we all can improve, right? We all can improve. And whenever I talk about like, let's improve our breathing, everyone's like, I know how to breathe. Like, what are you talking about? Look at the way you're breathing. We actually have lost the art of proper breathing. And we tend to hold our breath when we're stressed. We tend to, like, when we get that email and it's a difficult email or we want to respond, just be aware of your body, how you hold your breaths. And so when you go to the infancy stage, and the child is not breathing properly, meaning completely through the nose, their mouths are open, you see a decline of cognitive function, poor health. And I mean, it starts from day one. So the fact that you could just close their mouth and allow them to properly breathe
Mm-hmm.
is tremendous in the overall health of your child. And
Mm-hmm.
that has become my mission, because I'm like, how do we not know that? I mean, and my kids even suffered from that. And now I know better, and
Yeah.
constantly thinking, how can I make them better mouth breathers? Or, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, nose
Nose
breathers.
breathers, yeah. Oh, it's super important to breathe more out of your nose than your mouth. It's
And more so than ever because of all the
mm-hmm.
stresses that we have. And the amazing
Mm-hmm.
thing is, I never noticed, if you notice all the cartoons we watched when we were younger,
Mm-hmm.
the dumb one on the show is always the one with the mouth open. Think about it. And I'm like, oh my God, probably have family members that are suffering from this, right? So this became even a bigger project. So all my
Mm-hmm.
products, I have teethers, I have training toothbrushes, I have aspirators that
Mm-hmm.
have the right volume of suction without contamination of mouth to mouth,
Mm-hmm.
without mold. All those concerns have been addressed
Mm-hmm.
because of the bigger mission of how do we improve that child's nose breathing experience to allow them to have a healthy, start, really.
Right.
And
Right.
the funny thing is, my husband's always like, it could start at any age, actually. Literally, you and I can become better nose breathers and
Mm-hmm.
better breathers.
Mm-hmm.
That's why meditation's so important, all of that stuff, just at any age.
Mm-hmm.
So why not start from infancy? And there's so much in that is involved that we could go into the
Mm-hmm.
depth of that I would love to share, but I don't want to
No,
bore you.
I love that. I mean, I love that there is this much bigger mission at play than, this small invention that not only can make the difference in an infant's life, my daughter, for the life of her, even as she was a toddler and a little bit older, she could not get down like what it meant to blow her nose. Like that didn't.
Yeah, and in their infancy, they don't have that ability. And that is
Right.
why it's such a big deal when
Mm-hmm.
mom comes home.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we had some knowledge, we had some health knowledge, right? I don't know if that helped or not, but it
Mm-hmm.
made it complicated more. I don't know, but we did have some knowledge. The fear that I had that my child will stop breathing in the middle of the night
Mm-hmm. Oh.
drove me to this.
Mm-hmm.
And with all these, powerful
Right.
women that you speak to, moms, I mean, we are, I think, the best in knowing what will work for our kids.
Mm-hmm.
Never did I intend for that to be a business.
Mm-hmm.
Once I start seeing that it resonated with other people and people were asking me for it, I went to this baby show, like pregnancy show, first ever. I didn't even know any of that existed. Um, I had a line of moms actually ask me for a product. I didn't know what to sell it for. I didn't know how much to sell it for. I just remember calling my
Right.
husband and saying, you remember that product? I think I'm onto something, because I have a lot of moms here asking me about it. And the funny thing is, the ones that already had a child, they were on board
Oh
100%.
yeah, they
They got
automatically
it.
knew. Yeah, so I mean, this is just fascinating because so did you obtain a patent before you started selling it? You
I
did
did,
that?
but, I didn't know anything about business.
Right.
The only reason I patented is because I knew enough that I have to protect this idea. But
Mm-hmm.
anyone I went to, they're like, you can't patent this. Hence the reason why I've got all these copycats that just have a loop. Well, it's not a loop. That's the thing. We were able to get a patent on the scoop of this product because we don't want you to take a product like this and start inserting in the ear like a Q-tip or the
Mm-hmm.
nose and just start cleaning. That is not what this product is intended. It's intended for it to go inserted in the nostril or the ears and quickly come out for visible debris. To
Mm-hmm.
be able to grab that and come out. A loop is not going to do that. A loop is just as bad as a Q-tip. And
Mm-hmm.
what are the warning signs on a Q-tip? Do not insert it in nose or ears,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
As we learned with any pediatricians.
Mm-hmm.
But we know what that feels like when the child cannot breathe or they're stuffed up or they've got, earwax, too much earwax in their ears. I mean, moms know, believe me, moms know. I get so many reviews and letters from mom and how it's helped them, that that's the reason why I actually switched from my career to this business, is because
Mhm.
of the reviews that I got. But it allows you to go in there and quickly come out and
Mhm.
grab what's necessary rather than you digging because it's a loop. And so
Mhm.
that little scoop, that curvature that mimics our fingernail,
Mhm.
allows it to be super effective. And that's why we are leading this category. That's why we're doing so well, is
Mhm.
because this little concept has changed the way we're thinking of how to clean babies' ears and nose.
I really love that you made that distinction between other products that may claim to be something similar, and that, you know, make sure that you're choosing the original.
Honestly, it is
Yeah.
scary for me because they
Mhm.
don't have any. Listen, the product does really well.
Right.
And when something does really well, you're going to
Mhm.
have copycats. I was told actually by my attorney, that's probably one of the most flattering compliments you'll
Mhm.
ever have. I
Mhm.
didn't like it,
Mhm.
but I now realize what he meant, because they're not doing it right. You have to see some of these tips. They're so
Mhm.
long. I don't know what material they're using.
Right.
Who knows what's involved? Sometimes we order it just to see what that product is. And there
Mhm.
should be a warning on what they're doing, because that's
Yeah.
exactly what pediatricians don't want you to do,
Right.
is over insert. The whole, you know, process that this product is preventing is over insertion. Well, if you've got a tip that doesn't understand the tympanic membrane for a child, you're going to have problems. So,
Mhm.
again, moms are so smart. They know what will work and what doesn't. And I think the reason why I can account for our success is that they see the difference. They see that this product works. They've tried other products and they'll come back to this and, oh my God, this is a game changer because of what it offers. And
Mhm.
it's so simple. And to me, that's where I'm like, how in the world did I have a story of becoming an entrepreneur, getting on Shark Tank on something so simple like this? Like, how is
Mhm.
that possible? So once that happened, I realized there's a lot of knowledge here that
Mhm.
I have that I can actually convey to moms. As
Mhm.
my children have grown, we don't have that village healer. We don't have the grandparents around as much. They love to share that ideas. We're very solo in that sense. And I'm like, okay, that is my goal. That would be my goal, is to be able to share a lot of this knowledge that I have, that I see very
Mhm.
simply, not to sell a product, but to solve a problem. To me is the most rewarding thing that I could achieve, is that share something that would actually work. And to
Right.
some degree, I achieved that with this one product, but it's one product. Now I have 10 and then
Right.
more. There's no short of ideas here.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, I just love that you're solving a problem too for moms at such a vulnerable time. Like, you would do anything for just like 5 more minutes of sleep, or like you said, to function the next day at work, or caring for yourself or your other children or your family. It's just like you're really borrowing a lot of time at
Absolutely.
that stage.
I guess you can call it our mission statement, but it's to
Mhm.
help children and parents breathe a
Mhm.
little easier. And
Mhm.
that it's so like, let's breathe. Like, what,
Mhm.
there's so many products on the market. Listen, I'm a pharmacist. I know what's on the
Mhm.
market. People
Mhm.
used to
Yeah.
come and I would give them the recommendations, right?
Mhm.
How many products do we have of the same version in different colors and different branding?
Mhm.
I'm like, enough. Let's get some quality baby products. Let's have some understanding that actually will help mom at a time of need. Let's bring out quality products rather than quantity, just so we
Mhm.
can make a product. And to
Mhm.
me, that change has resulted to such a success.
Mhm.
And the stories that I get from moms, the reviews that we get, we're not putting venture capital behind this, not like
Mhm.
other companies. But the fact that the other companies are in this arena and seeing this, maybe
Mhm.
we're making an impact on them, and they're going to think, okay, quality over sales. And that
Yeah.
would be enormous if I could make that change in this industry.
Oh, yeah. It sounds like you're already doing that. And so, you're helping moms who are parents, but you also have so much value to offer moms who are entrepreneurs or inventors. And so, I would love to hear any advice you have. Well, one, I really love to because we constantly limit ourselves and think everything's been invented. Like and that is so not true. I've had multiple mom inventors on the podcast in the baby category and other categories. One inspiring mom had a dream about an invention while she was pregnant and
Mhm.
then developed it. So I just want to speak to those who are listening that think that their idea doesn't have traction or doesn't matter because everything's been invented. That's so not true. But what is some of the advice if somebody wants to bring something to e-commerce? Maybe some tips. I'm sure you could write volumes about it, but
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the fact that I'm sitting here, if I could do it, anyone else can do it.
Mhm.
And I know that sounds very cliche, but I love that slogan from or the what is it? The marketing from Nike that says "Just do it."
Mhm. Yeah.
You can apply that to everything, right? The
Mhm.
fact that, I mean, look at the product I invented. I have a booger tool, a
Mhm.
booger and ear tool.
Mhm.
It can't get any less sexy than that. And I acted on it. And during the time that I had an executive position in a pharmaceutical company, and it was hard for me to tell them, hey, I have a booger and ear tool that I'm actually leaving this position. I'll never forget my dad's reaction. What are you doing? You're leaving a really great position, all the schooling for a booger tool. I never forget that conversation and never forget how uncomfortable that was. Because
Right.
when I heard him say that, I'm like, yeah, that is really ridiculous. Like, what am I doing? Right.
Right.
But honestly, I would not be here today if I didn't act on it. And I think the number one advice I would give anyone who wants to leap into that, and it doesn't matter how ridiculous it is, because look, you can't get any worse than a booger tool, right? Well, maybe, but like that's pretty on the, that's low on the sexy chart.
Right.
Um, is I think a lot of people freeze and don't want to take a step because they're scared that they're going to fail.
Mm.
And I would love to be the person to tell them, oh, you're going to fail and
Mm.
you're going to fail a lot, but that should not at all deter you.
Mhm.
I could sit here and talk about all my failures. There's a lot. And I think that's what makes an entrepreneur is that you fail hard, but you get right back up and you figure out another way to do it. And I think that if you're worried about failing and you're not going to accept that, it's going to be a really difficult road because it just depends on the day. Like a lot of times when people are like, how's business? I'm like, it depends on the day that you ask me. Some days,
Right. That's
great.
right.
And some days I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, what? This is so difficult. But I think the collective experience that you go through, that up and down, my favorite part is figuring out how to do it the correct way.
Right.
That enabled me to just keep pushing forward and have such a successful story. I
Mhm.
think Shark Tank really brought that to my visibility. I didn't realize, I just thought we were a company that was like surviving like the rest. I
Mhm.
didn't realize how successful we were, how
Mhm.
profitable we are with very little investment. And
Mm.
that should really resonate with your listeners, that if
Mhm.
that can be done, so you can do the same thing. Just act on what you're thinking.
Mhm. And the momentum just grew over time. So, what was the amount of time from bringing it to market and your time on Shark Tank?
So 2015,
Uh-huh.
I started selling, like, oh, we
Mhm.
have a product. I went to that first trade show that I was like, oh my God, there are parents that like this. I didn't know pricing, I didn't know marketing. Remember, I had my doctorate in pharmacy, totally different mindset. Uh, and here I am in sales. And honestly, the baby world is kind of cutthroat. I never imagined that, but
Mhm.
yeah, it is. So 2015, I started it. And I think I would say um, my my biggest win was in 2016 when one of the major baby stores actually took our product in. And then we won top registry product consecutive months. That really brought it to the parents' attention. I remember the VP of the company, actually, one of the trade shows, hugging me and saying, we are in business because of parents like you that come up with these innovative products. And back then, you got to realize it was just the start of all these ideas. Amazon really wasn't really big. We put our product on Amazon and we started getting reviews, and amazing reviews, where that's when I realized I'm going to stop what I'm doing and do this full time, because the reviews and letters that I was getting from parents were just so moving. And I could not believe this little thought that I had, this little help me with my child, helped so many different families in so many different ways. And I was like, oh, you know what? This is a major impact. This is not just a tchotchke product. I am going to invest my full time. And I think I would say by 2018, we were well into making millions. And I would say maybe before the end of COVID, we were selling over 1 million units. So it was a rapid growth. We had 400% growth year after year.
Wow.
And trying to keep up with all of that. Yeah.
Wow. And so, of course, after you were on Shark Tank, you experienced even more growth, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, that Shark Tank experience is so amazing. It does die down a little bit, but we've become a household name now. People recognize us. They know our product. They want it, on their registry, and it's an amazing feeling, just to think, oh my God, like I had this thought. How someone wants it or knows me because of that product, not because they know me and they know I'm making a product.
It's so inspiring that you just kept taking chance after chance after chance. And what it has resulted in is just so inspiring.
I hope so.
Yeah, what advice would you have for any aspiring entrepreneur or inventor listening to this conversation?
I think proof of concept is very important. You hear that on Shark Tank a lot. I think one of the sharks always says, like, take this back and like shoot it or something. I think proof of concept is very important, because I think that a lot of entrepreneurs I see get caught up in making something perfect. Whether it's their website, whether it's the patents, I mean, all of that is necessary, 100%. But I think if you don't have proof of concept initially, you're wasting a lot of time. And maybe that could be changed into something else, or maybe there's another idea that you'll have that will, just resonate with people. I was fortunate enough that this little tiny product actually worked. And because it worked, people wanted it. And I think I've realized now marketing, and I'm not an expert, but I do realize there's two ways you market a product. Either it works and people are all talking about it, which is what I experienced. And I think that's kind of a given, that you should have a product that resonates with people, or you have a product and you spend a lot of money telling people they need it. And to me, the first one seemed easier. And so if you come up with a product that people genuinely need and it's helping people, you're going to win. People, I mean, people do right by you. If it makes their lives easier, if it's helping them, they're going to want to buy that product. So it's, yeah.
That's wonderful. And it just sounds like that proof of concept is really, like you said, what fuels you. And so you're going to have so many ups and downs in business. And I'm sure you could just go and read a few reviews and you're like, I'm good.
I even sometimes I couldn't, I was nervous to read my reviews. We have over like 40,000 reviews, and it's incredible to see that now, because I'm like, wow, look at this. Like, this is proof of concept. And okay, I don't think you should wait to 40,000 reviews, but that proof of concept, when people are, and I think family members are the best, because they will let you have it. If they, they're not going to be shy. And when my family members, they couldn't really come out and say, this sucks, or what about this, or what about that? I was like, okay, that's check number one. Yeah, let's get to the next step. And I was in I have a great community where that really helped me, kind of people supporting me. My husband was amazing. So if you have that support group too, my mom was amazing. My dad supported me after realizing, there was a heartache of him putting me through school and all the expenses. Now, afterwards he was like, well, I knew you were going to do well, but I think he's kind of cautiously supporting me.
Right.
But my mom immediately understood and just was like, follow your dreams. And here I am. And it's been an amazing ride, amazing ride.
Right. So what's next for you? I know you have like some balms that are coming out. You're like expanding. Is there anything you want to share with us that's like
Yeah, I
next?
mean, there's no short of ideas here. I
Yeah.
gotta tell you, I have so many ideas that
Uh-huh.
I need to keep up with them. Yeah, there's, formulations, that is just very near and dear to my heart, just because of the experiences I have with my kids. My, one daughter and especially my son is very sensitive to
Mhm.
product. And I am having this realization that is so important, what you put in your mouth, what you put on your skin, the safety, the sensitivity issues that I'm seeing in kids. I'm a big supporter of being clean. So we have USDA organic certified products that we make in-house, almost like a time to make a donuts kind of thing, because it's
Mhm.
so pure and organic is usually termed so pure and void of, it's
Preservatives
well,
and
yeah, it's cold
mhm.
pressed, so
Mhm.
to keep it intact, to nourish the skin rather than sit on top of the skin. It's so important to me that that is my new passion and kind of bringing out products, because we
Right.
know these products on a baby is going to get into their mouths. So
Right.
these are products that are going to be very void of preservatives, like you said, and synthetic components. And in the world that we live in, I feel like we have these buckets that fill up really quickly with all the crap that we do, right? Whatever exposures we have that are, I hate to use word toxic, but
Mhm.
I don't know how else to describe it without really saying it is toxic, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like when it comes to baby, let's give them a winning chance.
Mhm.
Let's save that for later on and not fill up their bucket so quickly, because I'm dealing with sensitivity issues myself with my kids, and I realize to decrease any of those just improves our quality of life in in so many different ways. So big advocate of that. And like I said, I'm no short of ideas.
Mhm.
I can't wait to come out with all the products that we have. We have a new finger brush, and everyone's going to be like, oh, I have a finger brush and tongue scraper. Well, not like ours. We have a no bite, which it actually extends from the fingernail. It's small from where your finger is. It actually fits dad's finger, mom's finger, whatever
Very
size
cool.
finger. Because I don't know if you've ever had a finger brush on your hand, but they kind of
Mhm.
like, they never fit.
Yeah.
They're too big. It doesn't go into baby's mouth.
Mm.
We have really thought through solutions to
Mhm.
make everyday things that we do much easier and safer. So yeah,
I
very
mean, being a mom can be such an overwhelming time. But I love how you're an example of how to embrace it and not only make it better for yourself, but make it better for other moms. And then to realize the value that you're bringing. I mean, I want everybody listening to kind of get that and absorb that because we all have the potential to create what you've created. And so you're standing in a lot of possibility and showing that to us. So thank you so much for that.
thank you. No, I don't want it any other way. If I'm not bringing any value to anyone, I don't think we would love what we're doing. So
Right,
I think,
right.
yeah, yeah, I love
Wow,
it. Thank you so much for the
that's
kind.
incredible. Well, I'm sure listeners are going to want to find the Oogie Bear and keep track of all that you're developing and doing. So where can they do that?
OogieBear.com. We're everywhere where baby products are sold. We're on Instagram, Facebook. You can find us anywhere. OogieBear.com.
I love it. Thank you, Nina, so much. It's been wonderful talking to you and absorbing all of like the special possibility that exists for you and others listening. It's just why I started this podcast.
Amazing. And I really appreciate you having me on. And I hope that my story resonates with any of your listeners to act on and take that first move. And you know what? Selfishly, it's so fun talking about my journey that I feel guilty saying thank you, but thank you so much for allowing me
No,
to share this
no.
story with your listeners. And ladies, gentlemen, if you got an idea, act on it. Just do it.
Yeah,
Do it.
I love it. Thank you, Nina, so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.